tuned to Kennett, Zenith Cablevision. Thank you for watching. It's time for talk. Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Tonight, Rosemary takes us by means of portable camera out of our studios and maybe into your neighborhood. And now, it's time for Talk.
All right, the two men who are running this parade and who have had lots of experience doing this, they are comparing notes. Everything's okay. They keep saying 5 minutes. Okay, who's not here? Who ought to be here? What are we going to do about this spot? You can't hear the conversation, but that's the sort of thing that's going on.
Everybody loves a parade. I love a parade, but we have two gentlemen in the studio tonight who really love a parade. Now, I don't know if they love it or if they felt like they were doing something for this whole area by working at parades for 50 years. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Bill Walsh Jack McDaniel, two Kennett businessmen who have served for, what, 50 years?
50 years.
50 years. And we have some pictures. We interviewed you, I don't even know how many years ago, but we interviewed these gentlemen about their role in putting this parade on. It was a job, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, there was nothing to it, really.
One of them said yes, and one said nothing to it.
Now you can tell who did the work.
All right. All right. Tell me how it got started. Tell me about it.
Well, it's, the year I was president of the Chamber of Commerce, I had a meeting of the Merchants Committee. And at the Merchants Committee, I said to the gentleman, I said, gentlemen, we need to advertise a Christmas business. And I says, why don't we have a Christmas parade and start the Christmas off properly? And everybody says, yay, that's a good idea, Bill. Way to go. That's the way to think about it. And I said, well, who's going to be the chairman of the parade? I never heard such silence in my life. But there was somebody sitting next to me named Jack McDaniels, who's a good friend of mine. And I said, Jack, you take it and I'll help you.
Is he still a friend of yours after you put this on him? Jack, do you remember that's the way it happened exactly?
Oh, I'm not going to dispute that.
Now, through the years, we have you two fellas, and I don't know what year, probably in the 70s, you're standing out on the parade route and you're looking at a clipboard of some sort with the lineup. Now tell me some of the things that a parade, that chairman of a parade, what do you encounter? What are some of the things you've learned? Do you ever have people want to enter things that you don't think were appropriate? Tell me some things you've learned.
Oh yes, we've had to eliminate quite a few things. At first, there was businesses wanting to put in floats and everything, and so finally, eventually, it got so big we had to eliminate the businesses.
Commercial floats we had to eliminate because the parade got so long. We're having all those commercial floats that the people were going home instead of going to the fair. And of course, this is supposed to be the kickoff for the fair, and they're supposed to come see the parade, then go out to the fairgrounds. But when it got so long, they were going home instead of going to the fair.
The kids started going to sleep probably when it was over. Well, now, did you ever have people wanting to enter different kind of things that you thought would not be good to be in the parade?
We have eliminated some after motorcycles for one. We rearranged the horses, put those in a different location.
Well, why? Now you're laughing about that. What was the deal?
Well, it seems that the people in the parade who were walking was complaining about stepping in something.
The bands.
Oh, the bands were coming along. They're playing their horns, and here they're marching right behind the horses.
Behind the horses.
Yes.
So you learned
to put the horses at the rear.
Oh, so the horses brought up the rear.
That's
all
right.
Right. Now you eliminated motorcycles. Was it noise? What was it?
No, the one that really made sure that we made the right decision is that this one person was trying to do I'm going to call it a wheelie, and it almost got away from him, and it headed in for the crowd, kids on each side. And we just decided it wasn't worth the chance of someone getting hurt, so we just eliminated the motorcycle. Not that I've got anything against motorcycles. Be sure and tell them that.
All right. Now, I remember the Christmas parade that you talked about, and I remember being in 20th Century Club and trying to build a float for that Christmas parade. The weather usually would catch you, or the rain or the snow, and here would be all that toilet tissue stuffed in chicken wire, and it was a miserable time. That has gone by the wayside, but the Delta Parade still goes.
Oh, yes, it has gone. This is one of the largest parades they had this year. The last few years have been the largest we've ever had.
Okay, now we've got lots of rain outside now for 2 days. What about, did you ever get caught? How many times did you ever have to call it off?
One time.
Correct. And have we called off one parade? No. One parade. And
Why?
Weather, rain.
Oh, you've only had to call it off one time.
But let me tell you, this guy here, you talk about the optimist. One year it had rained all day long, and there's a cold front coming through. We noticed it on the screen coming, and it was supposed to come through. And we went ahead and we staked out our parade, and some of the floats had already arrived. And at 5 o'clock, it was still raining. I said, Jack, we've got to call this thing off. He said, no. He says, let's wait just a few minutes more. And so help me, in 10 minutes more, it quit raining. It got awful cold, but we had the parade. And if Joyce hadn't brought us some coats out there to wear, we'd have probably frozen.
Okay, so the parade went on one time in 30 years. You called this off.
Right.
That's an incredible. Listen, there must be an inside track to somewhere with somebody that keeps this parade.
One time in 50 years?
Mm-hmm.
Surely their memory is going. What? Really?
Yeah, you're right. My memory is going. But I do remember we only called it off one time.
I remember hearing Jan at something that we were at not long ago. Jan McElrath is doing that now. And she said, well, you know, looked rainy the day of the parade that we had this fall. And she said, you all kept saying, don't call it off, don't call it off.
She called me 2 or 3 times on this and wanted to know what she should do.
Well, how soon did you call it off? I mean, did you go right up to the 6 o'clock time or whatever?
Well, the closest one we had was Bill and I were setting out on the West Y, and deciding where to call it off or not. And I think Bill was a little inclined to call it off, and I said, look there, Bill, to the west, over the St. Francis River. It's cleared up, we're gonna make it. And sure enough, we did.
That's right, we did.
And so you never did start a parade never did rain on your parade?
No, we just called one parade off and all postponed one.
That's an incredible record. Surely nobody's able to do that.
Well, it's who works the parades, that's how it happens.
I see. Okay, now, so Jan is liable to have trouble
She
without
may
you all to supervise?
Oh, I doubt that.
Well, now, was she reluctant to take over from this job?
No.
No, she just volunteered.
Oh, okay.
Well, she'd worked with us for many years.
She helped. We would go into on Monday nights to go out and line up the parade, put the band in the locations we wanted them, the floats. And
now, what do you mean? The people weren't actually there at that time?
No, just Bill, myself, and Jan.
And you all would go out and do what?
No, we were down to the Chamber of Commerce office.
Okay.
And we would just take all the entries that we had and then start dividing them up to how we wanted them to be in the parade. Jan would, we'd have to have 2 floats, a band, then we call other entries that would be the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, different ones. And so we would give them all a number. And then the day of the parade, Bill and I would go out and drive the stakes of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they would show up and we'd say, you're behind number state number 10 or whatever the number would be.
Now, where would you start? At the Y? Would you start
Yes.
number 1, and then, Bill, where would, where would it go?
Well, to go up to Washington and then past the high school, and then now it goes all the way down past the football field.
Lester.
Yeah.
Down Lester.
Okay. Do you ever have people who call in and want to enter something besides motorcycles that you feel like wouldn't be good for? Now, what do you do about political? What do you do about?
We let political.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that ever a problem? Do you ever have too many?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. So you pretty well can let in everything that goes. Now, I remember you when we were in the studio and we were doing an interview, and you were in the grocery business at that time.
True.
And you were telling a very interesting thing about the grocery carts.
That was before we removed the horses to the rear, and the horses had accidents along the way, but anyway, so Jack and I got together, and I said, well, Jack, let's hire a pooper scooper.
When we were inexperienced at this, well, we didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and the saddle clubs did come in. They'd come in and say, now don't put us last. So we didn't know what to do about this, because I know I used to play in a band, and I've marched in some of those parades with animals in front of us.
Behind the horses.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. So Jack and I got together, and Jack said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just hire somebody to go along and take care of the mistakes that the horses leave behind. And
Now, that's a good way to put this. Okay, go ahead.
I was wondering how he's going to put it.
I was too. I thought maybe we were going to have to beep him out here. Okay.
So, anyway, Jack got a hold of a fellow that would take care of it. So we got him a scoop shovel, and I got one of my grocery carts, and we put a box in the grocery cart. And he turned out to be quite funny. I remember the night
Did he dress up?
No.
Oh, no. It was just a funny thing.
Remember, he was a real tall fellow. I can't remember his name.
It's best you not say that.
No. He showed up, and he was smoking a big, long cigar. And it was funny. We had an opportunity to watch some of it. And about every time one of those mistakes would come up, that cigar would go up and down, and here he'd go and scoop that thing up, and into the cart it'd go.
And the crowd, I bet, would applaud him.
Oh, they did?
I don't remember.
All right, now you fellas been at this 50 years, and you're kind of like me. You're not a spring chicken now. What about, have you ever been too sick to do your part in the parade?
No, I guess the Lord looked after us, because we always managed to get our jobs.
You were always here? And
Always
did you,
here.
Jack?
Always. That's right. We didn't miss a one.
Didn't miss a one all 50 years.
That's bound to be some kind of record. That's bound to be some sort of...
Through the years, we've had decline in the number of floats that we've had. When we talk to different organizations, they will say that, well, we can't get enough of our members to show up. It got expensive to build a float with all the crepe paper and this, that, and the other. So I wish I could tell you how we started on the prize money, but now then we got up to the first place was $1,000. So we thought,
now is first place $1,000. Now see, in my day of 20th Century Club, if we won first place, I think we got $250, and we barely made expenses. That wouldn't buy us this little crinkly stuff to put on the side of the. And one of our problems was, the parade happened during cotton season, and they wanted to use their trailers. And they didn't want to give us a trailer to build a float on right in the middle of, well, cotton harvest is done with modules now.
That's right.
And not with trailers
Not
so
with
much.
trailers.
But in my day, it was done with trailers.
Our day.
Okay. All right, the crowds always got larger, it seems like. They parked up all along St. Francis. Do you see this parade as continuing? Are you all going to be on the sidelines from now on?
For the first time in the 50 years, I sat with my family on the square in front of the store to get to view the parade.
Bill, did you see this parade?
We did. I stayed home with my wife, who was unable to get out, so we watched the program on television.
Okay, all right. So that's the next best thing to be in there. So our guests tonight have been Bill Walsh and Jack McDaniel.